Hello there. How are we doing today? Well, today we are talking about how to set the intention of reigniting your sparkle this holiday season, right? Do you feel like you've lost the sparkle in your eyes? Do you feel like that fatigue has just drained you and sucked you dry? Yeah, yeah, it's not unusual. But here's the cool thing, right? There are things that we can do to get your sparkle back. And the holiday season is the perfect time to do that. So I'm here today and I'm Karen Del Maestro, self-care coach, breast cancer and BRCA2 thriver, and host of the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. And if you're on live with me here today, please say hi and let me know who you are and where you're coming from. I'd love to connect with you. So, getting your sparkle back, right? Sometimes it feels like it's just gone and we don't know if we're ever going to get it back. Um, but this time of year, I always go back to thinking about the year after my divorce, to be honest, which was 2003. And let me tell you why you actually get to choose, right? Because sometimes we feel like we're just in a circumstance and we're stuck and we don't realize that we have a choice. And we do, we do. And so when I think about that, I think about this time after my divorce. And it was Christmas, right? It was my first Christmas. And traditionally, Christmas had been spent with two young children and a husband rushing around like crazy. For those of you that don't know, I'm originally from the UK, and traditionally, Christmas is a time where we make kind of like a Thanksgiving dinner, really, the turkey, the stuffing, all the fixings, all of that on Christmas Day. So traditionally, my Christmas Day was spent in the kitchen, right? Watching the kids open their presents. They're all off in another room, doing their thing, having fun. I'm listening to all the laughter, and I'm in the kitchen working my butt off. And, you know, I did this meal because it was tradition. I did this meal because it's what we'd always done. And I never questioned or even realized that I had a choice to do it differently. But it was after my divorce. And frankly, I was exhausted. I was exhausted, very much like we're exhausted now, right, on this breast cancer journey. Like completely drained, mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. And I remember going to my kids and saying, hey guys, it's Christmas. Do you want the big turkey dinner and all the fixings and all of that stuff? They both turned around to me and said, we don't ever get to see you on Christmas. We would prefer to just do like nibbly finger foods so that we can actually see you and play a game with you and have fun with you. And it was in that moment, like this massive light bulb moment, right? Where I really began to understand that we have a choice. And so often we just go along with what we've always done because it's what we've always done. And this could not be more true after any major trauma but our breast cancer journey, right? So often we think that we have to go back to doing exactly what we did before, and that every tradition has to be the same. I'm going to give you permission right here, right now, and let you know that it doesn't. It doesn't. We have the choice to change, just like myself and my kids did after my divorce. And that story has stayed with me because it's really just this indication that we can make these choices at any point in our life about anything that we're doing. But here's the but, right? We've got to recognize that we don't want something, or that something feels too heavy or too much for us right now. And that's the part that we're going to talk about today, right? That intention of how we want the holidays to feel. How do we want to feel? So, just FYI, That Christmas that I talked about with my kids, we ended up having so much fun. My gosh, it was such a relief to not have to do this big meal and this big thing that was totally exhausting and draining when I was already there. But like we played board games, we were silly and goofy and we laughed together. And for me, and you may be different, and that's okay, no judgment anywhere. But for me, that's the meaning of the holidays. That's the thing. And even more so, right? I want those special moments. Those are the things that are important to me, to my heart, to my soul. Those are the things that we remember decades later, right? Is that special time that we got to spend with special people. And that's what I want for you. So how do we do it? Right? How do we get to making that choice? It sounds simple, but it isn't. It isn't. It's hard to go against the grain and against what we've always done. Not easy. So let's break it down into a couple of steps. Right. So first of all, right, we've got to get clear on how you, like I said, how you want the holidays to look, feel. Be clear on what you want, right? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel sparkly? Do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel calm? Do you want to feel rushed? Do you want to feel pressure? What do you want to feel? Think about this. If we don't know what we want, how are we going to know when we get there? It's kind of like, if you get into the car and you've got an address that you need to get to, but you don't put that address into your GPS. So the GPS can't tell you where to go. It's the same thing. If we don't know where we're going, how do we know the steps to take to get there? We don't. We don't. And this is a step that we so often forget in our lives, right? We're just on the hamster wheel, one foot in front of the other, going, 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 not questioning, not realizing. But here's the deal. Your energy is so precious right now. It's limited, right? You're on this next stage of recovery and your energy is limited. So you have to decide where you want that energy to go. What is the outcome that you want and deserve and are looking for, right? So, like I said, do you want a quiet holiday? Do you want the hubbub? That might depend on if you're an introvert or an extrovert, right? Do you want a big fuss and lots of presents, or do you want to minimize it? Maybe you're feeling financial pressure, right? So you want to minimize that. And maybe you want to say, let's do homemade gifts only. Or another cool idea that I remember I saw years ago was the idea of giving a coupon to people for something you can do for them. So a coupon saying, hey, I'll do your laundry, I'll fold your clothes and put them away for a month. Or I'll wash the car, or I'll go food shopping, or I'll cook so many meals, or I'll run you a bath every night. There are so many things that we can do to help people out, and it doesn't have to cost money, right? So think about that too. How do you want your holidays? How do you want them to be? Do you want to be surrounded by everybody? Or does the thought of a million questions, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You don't look sick. You had the easy cancer. If you want to avoid that, then typically we need to be in a much smaller group, because in the bigger group, we're going to get questioned. So if you're tired, maybe you don't want that fuss. Maybe you do. Those aren't my choices to make, they're yours. But you get to make them. Now, I also understand that that can sometimes be tough because we're scared about how others are going to feel. Here's the deal. We cannot control how other people think, what they say, or what they do. They are going to think what they're going to think, they're going to say what they're going to say, and they're going to do what they're going to do, regardless of what you choose. So why not choose what works for you? One of the biggest self-care tools that we can learn, right, is to let go of what we can't control. and we can't control that. Okay. If we have precious energy, we are the only ones, nobody else can decide it for us, to decide where that energy is going. And if you want your sparkle back, boy, do I want that for you, right? You have to be intentional with how you're spending your time and what you're doing. So, tip number two, right? If you want to feel energized, if you want that sparkle back, I'm wondering if doing less is more than likely the answer, right? If we're already tired, the key is to really lighten the load that we're carrying, right? So, what does that mean? It means letting go of the idea that other people might judge us for our choices. They're going to judge anyway. We can't make everybody happy, no matter what we do, no matter how hard we try. We can't. So, why not make you happy, right? Why not do what you need to do to preserve your energy and your sparkle, right? I know you don't want to hurt people. I get that. I don't want to hurt people either. But I know that I'm important. And without me prioritizing what I need, same as you, I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to get my energy back. I'm not going to get my sparkle back. I'm going to end up being more and more and more drained because my energy is focused on others and not on myself. And the third thing that's important when we're wanting to set these intentions is to choose to spend your energy on things that light you up, right? That truly reignite that sparkle. So, for instance, right, think about it. If, let's say, there's a holiday tradition, we actually lived in New Jersey for a number of years and would travel into the city at the holidays to see all the lights and go to Rockefeller Center and things like that. And it lit me up. It was just one of those joyous occasions where it was festive. It was cold, you'd be wrapped up warm. The kids would be laughing and smiling and seeing that pure joy on their face. And it lit me up. So, if we've got the choice of where our energy is going, if we've got the choice of what we're doing, let's choose the things. Be really clear with choosing the things that light you up. So if there's one tradition that you absolutely love, maybe it's even baking, right? Or doing a cookie exchange or going to see local lights or whatever it might be. This is, Christmas, Hanukkah, any of the holidays. They each have their own traditions. If there is something that lights you up, those are the things we want to be choosing. Makes sense, right? If we're just choosing the busy stuff that we're like, oh, do I really have to do this? That's not going to reignite our sparkle. It's going to do the opposite. It's going to make us even more and more and more fatigued. Makes sense when we think of it that way, right? So I want to invite you, if you are not yet in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community, please hop on in there because all of the month of November, we are talking about how to eat clean during the holidays to stay energized. It's going to be a free gift for those in the group and in the group only. So make sure that you're in the group. If you're a breast cancer survivor, come on over. It's for breast cancer survivors only. As we're going to be diving deeper into staying energized, right? And yes, we're going to be talking about clean eating. We're going to be talking about navigating holiday parties and circumstances, diving a little bit more into saying no without feeling mean or rude or disrespectful and without feeling guilty. I want to make it super easy for you. So I'll be talking about that a little bit too later on in the month. But let's summarize today. The first step is always to get clear on how you want to feel. Where do you want to go? What are you looking to achieve, right? Because without that why, without the reason why you're doing it, right? That's what drives the bus. That's what keeps us going when things get tough. So if we can think back and say, hey, you know what? No, I want that feeling. I want it really badly. I want my energy back. I want to look in the mirror and see that sparkle in my eyes again. I want to feel happy and lighter, and I want things to feel easier, right? If you are crystal clear on what you want and how you want to feel, it makes it much easier for us to be able to look at what's going on and say, is that moving me towards that? Or is that going to move me away from that? Makes it really easy to make decisions on what we do. That's why the first step is to get really clear on those intentions. So let's just do a quick recap. Okay. We want to be clear on where we're going, right? How do you want to feel? Do you want a quiet holiday? Do you want busy? Do you want to be inside? Do you want to be outside? Do you want a big fuss? Do you want minimal fuss? Do you want lots of gifts, or do you want homemade coupons and things that you can do for people? Maybe you want to spend time volunteering and giving back in some way. Maybe that's what lights you up. Be clear, right? Think about what you've done in the past, what's worked, what hasn't. What do you want? Don't wonder about how you're going to get there. Just say, what do you want? How do you want to feel? Leave the how to me. I'll show you. I promise. But just get clear. What do you want? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Let me know in the comments what you want to feel this holiday season. Right. Number 2, if you want to feel energized, think about doing less rather than more. Think about being really intentional with where your energy is going, right? Is it going on to just busy things? Is it going on to worrying about others? Is it going about just working harder? And could you achieve the same without working harder and just being more organized, right? We want to think about lightening the load, right? This is my system. I have a lighten the load system so that we can let go of the stuff that is bringing us down and truly focus, pinpoint our energy onto what's going to serve us and ignite our sparkle. Yes, I want it back for you. And the last thing, right, is to choose your activities with intention, real clarity. Do they light you up or do they drag you down? Right? Think about that holiday party that you're just in your head, you're just dreading already. You're like, I just dread it. Nobody understands it. Nobody gets it. It sucks me dry. I feel like I'm not even seen or understood or heard. Maybe those are the events that you need to beg out of right now, right? That you need to turn around and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm just not going to be able to make it this year. Could you say that? Without feeling like you need to explain. Oh my gosh, yes, we're going to get into setting boundaries, one of my favorite subjects ever as a self-care coach. Boundaries are everything, everything. So those are your tips for this week. Thank you so much for joining me and for watching. Again, let me know your comments. I can't wait to hear. And join me. We'll be going live in the Facebook group, the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook group, Mondays at noon Eastern. And this is when we'll be doing the show. So join me there live in the group, and then we'll be continuing to talk about that subject for the rest of the week. Don't forget, if you want that how to eat clean during the holidays to stay energy free guide that I've put together, you've got to be in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. It's the only place I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it with my pink sisters in there. So I hope that you hop on over to the group. I'll see you in there. Again, my name is Karen Del Maestro. You can find me over at KarenDelMaestro.com. That's Karen with an I. And also in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. Have an amazing day. Think about your sparkle. Do you want it back? I want it back for you, but I can't do it for you. Raise your hand. Give me some love. Say, yes, I want my sparkle back. Go out there and claim it, girlfriend. You deserve it. You deserve it. Don't worry about the how. I've got your back. Okay? Bye for now. I'll see you next week.